No matter how hard I tried, I was always the odd man out, the last one picked. The screw-up. The black sheep. Bad boy.
Help! Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be making a quick overview of the SPL rosters in Season 8, including my own. Seems like there was some wide interest in this, and me talking about the rosters, giving my thoughts on things, maybe talking about some of the rookies and stuff coming in SPL, and give you guys some insider info, perhaps. Yeah, and it seemed like a lot of people wanted to see this, so I figured why not take about 10 or 15 minutes to talk about everything. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Right here, we're actually on the Smite Pro League website. You can see all the rosters here, their pictures, the logos, the schedule, a lot of things you can see here. Oh, you can actually go dark. Let's go. We're going to go into the dark mode. You can also see it on the Smite client, but I think it'll be better to just look at everything here because you guys can see the logos, see everything that's going on and all that. I hope you guys like the setup, by the way. I don't know if you guys can see me down here. The setup I have here in Georgia, I'm pretty excited about it. So yeah, we got the microphone here, and we're just going to talk about the rosters. We're going to go in, I guess, alphabetical order. Is this what that's? It looks like we're in alphabetical order. I know the ABCs. We're just going to talk about everything and give you guys some thoughts, if you will. THOUGHT, right? Yeah, I know my ABCs, but maybe I don't know how to spell. But regardless, Atlantis Leviathan. So a lot of people are saying that they didn't like the team names, thought they were cringe, but honestly, it's 2021, and everything is cringe, especially if you're younger than the age of 20. And if you've been watching my channel for over a year, or maybe you're new to my channel, everything I do is cringe. So I don't really care if you guys think these names are cringe. I think the logos look amazing. I think all these logos look really cool. Maybe the names we could argue about, but we'd argue forever about it because it's just an opinion. And at the end of the day, you know, when you franchise at esports, and especially games like this, there's going to be some level of cringe to everything, so who cares? But regardless, let's talk about the actual roster. This roster, I'm definitely excited about. So this is the Sanguine roster from last year. They are going to be having Julio in the solo instead of Yarkor. Yarkor has switched over to the ADC role, and they've kicked Netroid, who I thought was one of their most consistent players last year. I think them kicking Netroid was a mistake. I think maybe some people that haven't been consistent on their team, especially when it comes to like LAN performance and stuff like that, is actually Panatome and Rongyu. I think, you know, those two roles kind of control the map, and a lot of times when it comes to their LAN performances, I think maybe they fall off, especially compared to how other people perform on LAN. But regardless, what I am really excited about is Julio in the solo lane. I get questions about this all the time. Muchas preguntas in my stream about Julio and what I think of him as a jugador, and I think that Julio is going to be awesome. I've watched his stream. He seems mechanically really, really good. Obviously, that's not all that matters when it comes to competitive, and ranked is very, very different than actual SPL and like competitive. But I just seen him playing competitive. He soloed Variety like 3 times on 150 ping or something like that. So imagine what this guy can do on actually good ping, maybe even land ping. Something to keep in mind with this team is that historically they've kind of been considered land chokers, and we're going to be playing basically every game on LAN next season, with fingers crossed. Hopefully that's actually happening. So that's something definitely to keep in mind with this team, but pretty similar to Sanguine last season. Really proud of the boys and how they played last year. You know, brand new. All of them were rookies coming into the SPL, and also one of the only full foreign teams. You know, obviously most of them coming from South America. Julio, I think, is coming from Spain. So Spanish-speaking team. And, you know, I'm just proud of them. I think they're awesome, and I think they're going to do really well this year, especially looking at Julio. So good luck to the Atlantis Leviathans. Coming up next is Camelot Kings. Captain Twig, Benjamin, our old teammate, one of my good friends in the Smite League, is going to be on this team. I'll talk more about like why we switched out our mid laner when we talk about our team, but Ben will be playing the jungle once again on this team. That's something he probably always wanted to do, and mid lane was just kind of an experiment we had with him last year. Going to be coming in with Variety. So Variety and Captain Twig are going to be reunited on this team. They used to play together on what was it? Was it Obey or something? I forget exactly what team, but they made Worlds, got to the Worlds finals as teammates. They're also going to be bringing in Big Man Tings, another UK resident or UK hailing from the UK. Biggie is going to be their coach, who is from Australia. Netroid is going to be their hunter, who is, I believe, from, I don't know which country, but I believe he's from South America. And then Genetics is also going to be coming from the UK. So kind of a band of misfits, but a lot of good players on this team. I think a lot of consistent players as well. All these players, besides maybe Genetics, just because he hasn't really had that experience, have done well in the SPL. And I'm excited to see them. I'm happy that Netroid actually landed on a team. I think there was some there was some doubt or maybe some worry that he wasn't going to get on the team after he got kicked by Sanguine, but in the offseason, he was able to land on this roster. And even though it's a band of misfits, I think this team can definitely pop off, and I'm super excited to play against them. And I'm happy for my boy Ben going back into the jungle, and I'm going to miss him a lot, but we'll talk about that more when we get to us, which I guess is right now. We're next up, the Jade Dragons. So this is obviously me right here. We got Sam. Herwind is going to be replacing Benjamin Knight in the mid lane, or Captain Twig as you guys know him. And then we're going to have the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Yes, I said that. The greatest of all time duo lane in Smite, Polar Bear Mike, and Panda Cat. Nobody comes close, in my opinion, of course. And then we're also going to be having Kabam as our coach. So Slaney no longer going to be our coach. He's going to be coaching the Scarabs, I believe. We can talk about that when we get to it. Slaney, I've been actually teaming with him for almost 3 years now, so I'm definitely going to miss him. But we kind of just wanted to go a different direction with our coach and our mid lane this year. It seemed like Ben really wanted to play jungle again, so we kind of wanted to stick with Sam in our jungle just because Sam's an all-star and we're all really good friends with him. Not to say that we aren't good friends with Ben, because we definitely are, but it kind of just, everybody kind of was like itching for a bit of a change when it comes to the team. 2 second-place finishes in a row at Worlds is definitely not where we want to be. Obviously, it's better than not even making Worlds or getting 3rd or 4th, but obviously, we think that we should be taking home some World Championships, and I think I should be getting my first ever, so hopefully with the squad this year, that's what we're going to be doing. We're all good friends, and I'm excited to see what Kabam can bring to the coaching. I've actually never worked with him before, but I know that he's been really good before. Kabam was actually the coach for Splice in Season 5 when they won Worlds. After having a really bad swing split, they came back and won Worlds in the fall. So Kabam, I know he can do some good work. And obviously, I'm still with my boys, Panic Cat, Play over Mike, Sam, and I've actually teamed with Herwin before, so I'm excited to play with him again. Obviously, I think we're going to be one of the top teams, if not the top team. So if you're looking for a ranking in this video, expect us to be up there. Olympus Bolt's coming in next. This is going to be the Renegades slash... is it just Renegades? I think it's just Renegades. This is going to be basically the Renegades roster, except for instead of having Variety or a solo troll in the solo lane, they're going to have Haddix. But everything else is the same. Even the coach, Road, is going to be still the coach of this team. Barracuda and Awesome Jake coming in the duo lane. Laspret and Ven being that jungle mid duo. And then they're going to be having Haddix, who this is his first time, I believe, actually playing in the Smite Pro League. He's played in events associated with the Smite Pro League. Like, he played at Worlds. He was replaced, or he didn't replace. He filled in for Yarkor when Sanguine played at Worlds, just because Yarkor, I believe, couldn't get a visa or something like that to play. So he's played in things before, and Haddix is definitely an up-and-coming ranked player, and a lot of people have a lot of respect for him. And for good reason. I think Haddix is going to do pretty well this year. I think once it comes to like the SPL and being consistent at playing that high level and doing the right, making the right decisions and everything, when it comes to like playing with pressure or against pressure, I think that's where Haddix maybe will lack a little bit. But, it all comes with like learning. The more experience he has in the SPL, the more he's going to learn from that, and he'll do pretty well. I think this team is actually going to be just like they kind of were last year. They're going to be that dark horse who, people don't really think of as like a top 3 team, but they're going to be able to compete with those top 3 teams and always have that that potential to maybe pop off in any tournament or any like league game. So expect this, I guess, Renegades-esque team, the Olympus Bolts, to do well this year. We'll beat them when we play them. That's a fact, but they're definitely going to be a team to reckon with. Coming in next, another team to reckon with is the Oni Warriors. This is basically going to be a combination of SK from last year. I guess they weren't called SK. They were called the Pittsburgh Knights of last year and Space Station of last year. So Cuvo and Neil, the support jungle from Pittsburgh Knights, who we lost to in the finals of Worlds, is going to be combining with Dardez, Vote, and Nika. Cherio no longer playing the SPL. He doesn't want to. He moved back to Egypt, I believe. And because of that, Vote, Nika, and Dardez were looking for a jungler. And also Raffer was supposed to be retiring, but we'll see that he didn't retire. So they teamed up with Cuvo and Neil. And this is just a really good, solid roster. Obviously, 2 world champions or defending world champions in Cuvo and Neil. And then Nika, Vote, and Dardez, who have been at the top of each of their roles for quite a bit now. I think Nika, behind me and Benji, is probably the 3rd best solo. And it's arguable that he's the 2nd or even the 1st. It's just basically an opinion, but very, very good players. Dardez, probably one of the best mid laners for the past 2 years. Can play with hunters. He can play mages. He can do a lot of stuff. He's very versatile, and that's going to work really well with Cuvo and Neil, because these 2 players are also very versatile. And I think Neil is going to combine with Dardez to make some crazy combos in mid and have a ton of pressure. So this is one of the teams that I think we're going to be mostly competing with. Like, they're probably going to be a top 3 team. So this is the team that we're going to be looking out for to make sure that we, always bring our A game for them. And of course, they have El Chocos coming from Pittsburgh Knights as well. So basically 3 players or, 3 entities of Pittsburgh Knights with 3 entities of Space Station combining for the Oni Warriors, which, by the way, they have a pretty cool logo. I feel like their logo is pretty banging. I forgot. I haven't been reviewing the logos, but like I said at the beginning, I think all the logos are actually pretty cool. And by the way, Jade Dragons, we're going to have our own merch. Every team is going to have their own merch, but, the most important merch is obviously going to be the Jade Dragon merch. So when that comes out, definitely be on the lookout to buy that. And we're also going to have wards and skins in game. So if you guys want to support us in game, definitely be on the lookout for that. Support any team that you want, but if you're watching my video, you better be supporting the Jade Dragons, okay? Where were we? We were at Solar Scarabs, the Solar Scarabs. Now, this is a team of a few rookies or a couple rookies, plus maybe some people that fell through the cracks for one reason or the other. Like I said before, Slaney no longer teaming with him. He's actually going to be the coach of this team. They're going to be combining Solar Troll, Layers. Layers and Baronic have been known for their play in the console league, but they're both definitely some up-and-coming PC players as well. Combined with Inbound and Zatman in the duo lane. And obviously Solar Troll is going to be solo, Layers going to be jungle, Baronic going to be mid. It says right here if you want to read it. But so yeah, this is another kind of team of misfits. This is probably one of the teams that people expect to be on the lower end. Not because these players are bad, but some of them are new to the SPL, that some of them don't have the experience. And it's really awkward. It's really hard to say whether they're going to mesh well together and have that synergy. And if they do, it's going to take a little bit to build up. So maybe by the middle of the year, they might start making some waves in the SPL. But people expect them to be a little bit on the lower end this year. But that's not to say that any of these players can't pop off. Inbound for a couple years now has been towards the bottom end of the SPL on teams like Obey. And there's not much more to say about them. It's really just going to come down to whether they have a really good practice and are able to get their synergy up and maybe find their identity as a team, considering there's a lot of combinations of people from different places that they kind of have to work out. So, I expect for us to, clean up this team pretty easily when we play them, and excited to play Zatman once again in the SPL. Coming up next is the Tartarus Titans. Every time I read this team name, I think the logo's cool. I like the team name, but every time I read this team name, I think of tartar sauce, and then it makes me think of SpongeBob, tartar sauce from SpongeBob. But that's weird. I don't know why. I guess maybe their names are too long, because this is the only time the coach has been down here. So this is basically Radiance from last year. Cyclone Spin and Aurora have been on a team together for like 3 or 4 years now, and they're a very, very good duo lane. One of the couple duo lanes in the SPL that I think can actually maybe compete with Panda Cat and Polar Bear Mike in the duo lane. So they're always a team, or at least a duo, that you're going to have to reckon with at the top end of the SPL. Benji, like I said, besides me, probably the best solo laner in the league. Scary D is actually going to be in the jungle now, and the reason for this is that he didn't get kicked, but former Pittsburgh Knights disbanded, and then Scary couldn't find a spot as a solo laner. And I believe since Paul was going to be playing with Aurora and Cyclone, because Paul is just, he's obviously probably the best mid laner of all time, if not one of. He was like, hey, if I'm gonna be playing mid lane for you guys, I want Scary D to be in the jungle, or at least solo. And of course, you can't replace Benji in the solo lane. He's probably one of the best solo laners of all time. So they combined just to make Scary D in the jungle, Paul in the mid lane, and then having that duo lane plus Benji. Cherio is actually going to be coaching. I believe he's going to be coaching from Egypt, so that's very interesting. He's still staying involved with the SPL in some form or fashion as a coach, which is really, really cool. Just because, Cherry's an awesome personality to have in the league, and he's also just an awesome player, awesome person for knowledge when it comes to the league. He's a very, very smart Smite player, so going to be good for this team. And like I said, this team, they've got some all-stars on it. I think this is probably going to be our biggest competition going into the SPL next year. Do I even need to explain more? Like the duo lane, one of the greatest duo lanes ever. Paul, one of the greatest mids ever. Benji, one of the greatest solos ever. It's just really going to come down to how well Scary can adapt to the jungle. And I think he's going to do well. I've always thought of him more as a jungler, even in the solo lane. Just the way he plays, how he kind of plays for those team fights and never does too great in lane. In the jungle, you don't have a laning phase, so that's something that Scary D has had a weakness in the past. It's not going to really matter because he's just going to be able to run around and gank and do stuff. So no laning phase for him. Maybe that will help him shine there. Like I said, it's just going to come down to how well Scary can adapt to the jungle. If he adapts really well, then he's going to become adapting, I guess. And then last but not least, we have the Valhalla Valkyries. So these are all European players combining to make a pretty interesting roster. I think this team is going to be on the lower end of the SPL. I think Raffer has kind of fallen off as a support. I think Zeros can potentially do well, but I've kind of always seen him as maybe a lower end mid laner for the past few years. Johnny is going to be his rookie season in the SPL. He's been popping off in the Challenger Cup for a while now, playing characters like just auto attack characters like Kali, Baka, stuff like Ao Kwang, Set, and just like hard carrying his teams in the jungle. I don't think that playstyle is going to work in the SPL. He's going to be getting really hard pressured by really good supports like Polar Bear Mike or Roar and stuff like that. So he's going to have to work around that, and it's going to be a lot harder for him to play those carry characters and basically carry. If he can adapt to that change and play more of a pressure supportive type style in the jungle to help Ducky get ahead in his solo matchup and stuff like that, I think this team can do a lot better. But I do see this team being towards the bottom end of the SPL, and they do have Emilito I Raffer, which is the 2-time world championship duo lane, and I'm excited to see Emilito back in the SPL. Obviously one of the greater hunters of Smite history. But like I said, they also have Tigress as their coach. I don't know if this is like an official coach thing. Tigress is, I think, Raffer's either fiance, wife, or girlfriend. I'm not sure what their exact relationship is, but they're obviously together. And I don't know if this is like an official capacity coach or if this is just like a thing that they're doing. I don't really know, so don't quote me on anything when it comes to that. But like I said, I don't see this team doing too well. Ducky has also been kind of on the bottom end of the SPL for a few years now, so it's kind of up to him to change that, I guess, reputation and really pop off this year and show that he doesn't deserve to be in the bottom end on teams like Obey. So we should be able to clean up this roster every time we play them, and hopefully we will. And that is it. Those are all the logos. Those are all the rosters. Those are my, I don't have too many thoughts about it. Honestly, when the rosters were leaked, I didn't even really know what the rosters were. I was just worried about my own roster and kind of just using this off season to take care of stuff that I want to do, use this free time that I have to stream, make content, and do fun things. And then when it comes to the actual SPL, I'll worry about that when we get to it, because we're still about a month and a half away before our first actual SPL game. So yeah, that's how I feel about things. Obviously, I think we're going to shit on everybody. We're going to be first place, and as long as we don't check at Worlds, we'll win Worlds next year. That's all there really is to it. So if you guys were expecting some shit talking, there it is. That's all I got for you. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick review. Like I said, it wasn't going to be too long. I just want to show you the rosters. Maybe if you aren't too much interested in the SPL, maybe you can see them now based on this video, and see which logos you like. Maybe you guys just want to root for a team based on the logo. If that's the case, then here they are. Choose which one you like the most. But obviously you like the Jade Dragons. So yep, this is where I'll be all year. This is my home in the Jade Dragons with this team. So hopefully you guys can support us. That's all I got for you guys. As always, stay safe and stay healthy. And let me blow you guys a kiss on the screen. Wow, that's the first time I've ever done that. So hopefully that deserved maybe a like or a comment. Who knows? Yeah, peace out, guys. Bye-bye.